Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Yomi. My name is Yomi. I do some college vlogs and art videos. For today's video, I'm with my two friends from Brown University, and we're going to be talking about what it's like going to an elite university, our first perspective, because we've only been here for a month, and we're going to tell you if the stereotypes are true and what's different than what we perceived it to be like.
Hi, I'm Haider. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Hey, hi, my name is Jadine and I'm from Kenya.
And what will you be majoring in at Brown?
I'm going to concentrate in psych and then do pre-med.
Okay. I'm going to be concentrating on majoring in international affairs and Africana studies.
Yeah. And I'm in the dual degree program at Brown University and Rhode Island School of Design. So at RISD, I'll be doing illustration, and at Brown, I'll be doing anthropology. Okay, so to get started, I'm just going to facilitate the conversation by doing some sub-points. Okay, so the reading. How do you guys feel about the readings?
I don't do the readings.
You don't do the readings?
I don't do the readings.
How about you?
I do all my readings. And this is why I'm dying.
So like, would you guys say that there's a lot of reading? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
I'm taking only STEM classes and all of it.
And your STEM classes have a lot of reading?
They have so much reading.
Okay, I'm not taking STEM classes. I'm taking humanities.
You're
taking humanities.
Yeah, humanities, social sciences.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the reading, at least in my perspective, it's like very superfluous and has like heavy language. Like something that's like in 20 pages can be said in like 2 pages.
Or 2 sentences.
Yeah. And they'll just like talk in circles and circles. And high school wasn't like that, but college definitely seems like that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the articles and books that we read are very, very academic, and the people know what they're talking about, but they just do too much.
They always do too much. Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about the class size? So our university is around like 8,000 students undergraduate, so it's going to be different with each university or each elite university institution. So how do you feel about the class sizes?
I have some really small classes. Like I have one class that has 5 people in it, which I love because the conversations are really intimate. Everyone gets to share their perspectives and it doesn't feel really rushed. But I also am taking an economics class that has like 500 people. COVID hasn't, but like...
Yeah, that's the biggest class at Brown, 500
huge.
people. And that's a lecture, right?
Yeah.
And
so,
do you have lectures?
I have 2 lectures and then an online math lecture and then Arabic, which is just like inside a small class. It's the smallest class I have and it's like 16 people.
And how big are your lectures?
The lectures are either like 150 or 200 people.
Yeah, I feel like from my perspective, I'm not in any big lectures at Brown, but I hear like all the students say that their lecture classes are really big, like their entrance to like math or chemistry, they're huge, and there's just a lot of people in the class. Or like, are there just
Well, they have the sections once a week where you can like ask questions to the TAs if you do the work before them.
And that's separate from the lecture, like you meet at a
separate from the lecture. You have some classes they have lectures several times a week. Others like math, you have lecture once a week, and then the conference meeting once a week, where you ask questions about like the homework.
I think for social science it's a little bit different because the sections are based more on like conversations with each other. Because we read lots of dense material, as Yomi has talked about. We focus more on like analyzing specific paragraphs, phrases, and things that we don't understand. It's more focused on like language and how to use what's been read in the text to write efficient arguments.
Clubs, like how do you guys feel about clubs? Have you guys joined any? Or?
I actually got into one club which had an application, so I felt kind of fancy. I'm currently only doing one club because I have a lot of I have one other big program that I'm participating in, so I was like, I don't have time. So I'm currently doing it's like an academic-ish club. It's the Brown Journal of World Affairs. So I'm editing on that, and so far I'm really liking it.
And you said that you had you had to apply to your clubs, or?
Yeah, I've applied to. So this is like really cool food blogging club. It's called Spoon University. You should look at it if you have time. It's really cool if you like food. So there's that. So there's really quirky things like food and like innovation, like cool arts things. And then I'm doing the journal, which is like history, international affairs oriented. From
what I hear, like the bigger clubs, like you have to apply to. Which I mean, if your elite university is like smaller, I may not apply to you. But yeah, like some clubs, they're really hard to get into. Like my friend is doing an entrepreneurship club and he had to do a full-on interview. Yeah, it's just a whole thing. So just know that not every club that you want to do, you may not get into it. How do you guys feel about the professors? Of course, we've only been here a month. How do you feel like they're compared to your high school teachers?
I went to a small school just for context, and the classes were really small and the teachers were really invested.
Okay.
So I grew to love them so much that anyone who teaches me just cannot compare.
Yeah.
But the professors objectively are very good. They're really invested in making sure the students understand the content. They're actually really approachable. they're very like serious academic people
Yeah.
who are so
Yeah.
yeah. They're like some professors here like journalists and they write for like the New York Times and they've been like working like
Yeah.
as diplomats. So they're very approachable, like
It's
considering the
crazy.
standing that they have, and I'm really appreciating that.
Yeah, like I feel like the professors here, like, well, I only have one professor at Brown right now since I'm doing dual degree program, but they seem to know what they're talking about, because even the ones that I've talked to that aren't teaching me, like they just know their stuff. Like my advisor at Brown, she's an anthropologist and she does actual field work and works in the field. A lot of the teachers here and professors, like they actually like do research and things of that nature, which is just really impressive, because I feel like you don't necessarily get that at every university.
The professors that I have so far, they definitely know what they're doing. Like my chem teacher actively studies everything that she's like trying to teach us. They do move really fast because they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And if it's a big lecture, then like every now and then they'll stop and see if anybody has questions, and there'll be like a 5-minute just experience of them just being like, hey, anybody have any questions?
Going back to the readings, I've learned that like you can't like read everything in depth. Some things you just have to like skim through. Like I still like read every word, but I just can't read as slowly and take notes on everything. I just have to like go quickly because there's just so much reading to do, and you have other classes and other assignments. I feel like a lot of teachers in high school, they account for the fact that you have other classes. Well, I feel like a lot of the professors, it's just like,
it's
my
like
work is work.
Yeah, my
You
class
gotta
is
do
the
it.
only class.
It's like everyone's viewpoints challenge you. Everyone thinks deeply and is like very engaged, like not only politically, their mental realm is just like so developed. Like just hearing people think, and it like challenges your viewpoints, but you want to hear more, even if you disagree. How do you guys feel about that?
I feel like I've definitely come across people who know a lot more politically than I do and are very outward about that point of view.
Their like political views, it's not just Instagram research, it's actually like they know the systems and they know like their development, and you'll be like, oh well, socialism is this, but they'll be like, no, that's not what socialism is, and they'll correct you and you'll be like, oh shoot.
No, yeah, but I really appreciate that. I think also it's not just even with like political views. People are really like knowledgeable about specific niche things. I think too. Like I've met some people who are very intense about like pure math and theoretical things. So you can sometimes you spend like an hour just listening to someone tell you about how much they love a specific shape, and that's
like what?
Like why that shape is so important.
I did not realize how much money people would have.
It's very casual, and some people don't even realize how wealthy they are.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're like showing it off or like flexing in some ways. It's just that they just say things and they do things.
Yeah.
And you can just be like, oh alright.
My friend like was talking about like why I haven't like basically traveled to other countries like all around the world, and I'm like, shoot, like that's expensive.
Now you're talking about wealth, I just realized I'm an international student, and some people assume that all international students are like really rich, but like affluent people, but I'm not from that background. My family is just like a regular middle class family. I'm in financial aid, so if you're an international student who wants to apply, don't let that be a barrier. It'll definitely be it'll definitely be harder, and some things will be more expensive, but you can get waivers, and I think you can put contact information, but I will be willing to help out, but you can get here if you want.
So not all international students are rich.
Yeah.
Although there are a lot
There are a lot that are rich, but not all of us are rich.
So my next point, this is something that I think about a lot. College is like a simulation, especially like at an elite university, like where every single person that they pick is for a reason. Like from like different demographics, different racial groups, different ethnic backgrounds, financial backgrounds, different states. Like you find people from every niche and every area, and people from different majors, and it's like the perfect setup, and it's like the perfect setup for your mind to grow. But I feel like the real world isn't like that. Okay, so my fifth point is I noticed that there are a lot of people who want to be doctors. Growing up, like in my high school, like I met one person who wanted to be a doctor. Here, literally everyone who does, well not everyone who does STEM, but so many people want to be doctors. Like, have you noticed that?
Being one of those people,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way as you, me too. Because everyone who I've met who's like into STEM as well is very like, they want to go into like medicine, but like I feel like very different areas of medicine. Like some people who are like into like prosthetics very deeply. Some people are really into like brains and like neurosurgery and stuff.
Like my friend who wants to be an allergist. So do you feel like everyone talks like, oh, there's like super smart and elite, or do you feel like everyone is just like normal?
Half and half. Everything is moving really fast, and I'm having a hard time keeping up.
Bro, you belong here. Everyone
you belong here, by the way.
It's just so I'm not prepared for the shift between small liberal arts high school in Santa Monica to still somewhat small, but like university.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
everything is just more intense. You're expected to know what they're teaching you, even if you're taking the intro courses.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
in
yeah,
depth.
yeah.
It's
intense.
a lot to enter into if you don't have a lot of experience in those areas.
Imposter syndrome, yes, I do feel it sometimes. But I remember like when I came, my parents like made me a poster. It just basically said like you belong here. And I think sometimes you need to know like you need to remember that if you didn't deserve to be here, you would not be here.
Yeah.
And
True.
even if you say that there's so many things, people will go like, oh no, from interaction, all these things. There's a lot of people applying who are this, like, I guess, almost the same as you, but you're chosen specifically to be here. So
Yeah.
you're making a positive impact on the student body. So just remember that.
And just know that there will be other people who don't understand what's going on as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, like a lot of people like will be super smart, but they won't understand either. So just know that, like, yeah, we do have first year seminars, which have a max of 19 people in the class. There's only a few first year seminars, but I guess it's to get you maybe acclimated to like
Yeah.
college, I guess reading and like just discussion,
Yeah.
because you have a lot of discussions there. So you hear everyone's deep views. For like imposter syndrome, for me, like I feel like I really had it going in. Like I was at a point where I was just like, I'm gonna backtrack and just decide not to go here anymore. Because like when I got in, I was super excited, and like a month later, I'm like, I
actually
can't
have to
do
go.
this.
Yeah, same.
I can't do this. I'm just like I feel like I can't do this. Like everyone's just super smart, but yeah.
Same.
I will say like the only thing like with imposter syndrome with me right now is like I feel like everyone like I talk to, they talk pretty normally, like I can speak to on an intellectual basis. But I feel like a lot of people do come from like really rich backgrounds or really like preppy like boarding school type scenarios.
Don't let the eloquence put you off. And I think
Yeah.
also sometimes it feels like you will not get to the same level that you see like your peers at. Sometimes you see them at. And eloquence is something that I think is also like learned, and you gradually grow into it. So don't expect everyone to be at the same level. Don't expect yourself to be at the same level as other people. You might be better than them at some things. You might be worse than them, I guess, at other things. But I think that also just builds into the experience to making it a situation where you can actually grow and be better.
Yeah, I agree. No, I thought like going to like an Ivy League school, like oh Ivy League school, elite university. I thought everyone would be like super nerdy and like I don't know. Did you guys think that?
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to think coming in here. I got in and then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna wait and then see what everybody's like once I get here. Like there was this whole Instagram situation where you try to meet everybody.
Oh shoot!
Oh, yeah.
It took me
That was a
such a
moment.
long time to send my stuff. I was so nervous. But even after I did that, I was like, I'm still not gonna talk to these people until I actually get
Get to
there.
know them, yeah.
And after getting to know the people here, they all seem very approachable. Nobody here is like, get out of my face, I don't want to talk to a new person. Everybody has their moods, but like nobody's in those moods 100% of the time.
To get in here, you have to be somewhat social. You have to do a lot of clubs and activities and extracurriculars to get in. So I feel like a lot of people are used to doing those type of things. So everyone here is pretty much very social. And
Even the introverted people, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, because no, generally, because I sometimes feel like it takes so much time to like recharge my social battery. So you meet people interact very different ways. Sometimes even just like spending time on a game with people is like a nice way to like spend time with other people, get to know them. So yeah, don't worry, if you're an introvert, you can manage.
No, yeah. Like you will notice, like if you end up going to a university like Brown or like any other school, like I don't know, Harvard, Cornell, NYU, any school like that, there are like a lot of people's parents like do like high up things, or don't be surprised, like I said, governor, like don't be surprised if you meet someone and they're like the governor's daughter, or like their dad is a CEO. Even like celebrities, like their children go to a lot of like Ivy League schools and like elite universities.
Going back to the whole social thing though, I didn't think that it would be easy coming here. And as soon as I got here, it was not hard meeting new people. And everybody was so willing to reach out to me when I was equally willing to reach out to them. But you have to still have that willingness to make that connection in order to like increase your social circle. And you do want to increase your social circle because the friends that you start off with may be the people you end up staying with, and they may not.
Yeah.
But you do have to be ready to meet new people, to figure out whether or not you want to keep them in your life. You need to figure out if you can actually engage with them on things that matter to you.
Yeah.
And it's really important to know how to socialize when you are looking for that.
The first night of like Brown like orientation, I think the ice cream social was on the first night.
Yeah.
And people came.
I was not.
that was
I went straight to the game
yeah.
room. Straight to the game room.
No, but like when people came up to me, they'll be like, "Hi, what's your name? What are you majoring in?" And I'm like, and I was so shy, and everyone was the same. And so like now I feel like I'm like that. Now I just go up to people, I'm like, "Hi, on the street, what's your name? My name is such and such."
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't know, you get used to people.
You do, but I also think you realize that you don't have to get to know everyone in the big social gatherings
Yeah.
and things. Sometimes it's just like meeting random people on the street or in a hallway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the best way to make friends.
Oh, and one thing I did notice, like this was like before I even like was enrolled at Brown, like when I just like accepted my application, I noticed like when back in high school, like I made a website and I did like some certain things that were like higher up things that I thought were pretty like, oh cool, nobody else did this. Like you'll notice like a lot of things that you did that nobody else did, everybody else at Brown does. Or like, I don't know.
For me, it's shown when you're trying to find common interests with people and they tell you casually, for example, like, oh yeah, I started like the first organization of this kind in like my town, you know, or I was like working with my local governor to do like this initiative.
Or did research.
Yeah,
for this.
yeah, I was like, I'm working like a lab. Yeah,
I wrote a book and published it.
yeah,
and, like,
exactly. Yeah, so there's like instances like that, and you're like, oh wow, everyone's like really impressive. Yeah.
But I also feel like for me, like it pushes me because I'm like, if they got it and they can do that, who says that I can't do that?
Yeah.
So like, even though I may not have done something like that, it just shows that you can do something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it can push you to be better and realize like, hey, let me push myself. Or I feel like it's good because you have connections. You have people that are doing these great things.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah.
And it's a very wholesome outlook on how you got here. Like, they look at everything about you. They don't just focus on your grades. They don't just focus on your essays. They don't just focus on your extracurriculars. They take everything. They look at who you are. They look at the specifics of each response that you give and see if your personality type is going to fit in this school. And everybody does seem to fit in.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've met, I'm like, you should be going
makes sense.
around.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think the biggest commonality is basically how much everyone's willing to put into the things that they care the most about. Because that's definitely showing in like the conversations I have with people.
Yeah, everyone's definitely very dedicated. Because to make this video, oh my goodness, so many people canceled on me. I asked so many people, and like, because they're like, oh, I have to study, and it's Saturday, so mind you, there's Sunday too.
I mean, I think it's very easy over here to forget that you need to take a break though. Because everywhere you go, like, it doesn't, like, some people are like hanging out just chilling, but some people always also, I just see them typing fiercely all the time, and I'm like, no, I need to take a break. Because rest is also productive, and I feel like no one really reminds you that here. I feel like I always need to work.
People
Every
are
time I
always
rest, I do feel like I'm being unproductive though. Like, every time,
same.
like, I'll have moments in between when I'm doing stuff that I need to get done, and I'll feel like, what am I doing? I love it here. Just expect hardships that lie outside of academics.
Yeah, it'll be hard, like, adjusting to a new life, like, whether you're coming from a different state or a different country, or
whether your parents are in the next town over or all the way on the other side of the country, it's going to be something to deal with.
Yeah, like, enroll, like, if you feel like you need to, enroll in the mental health services. A lot of college students do it, so don't be ashamed about it.
Right
like,
here. Hi. Do it. It's really cool. It's really great. They help you with so much.
Yeah. Even at RISD, like, there's like this this paper on the wall, and it has strips on it, and it says like, if you have anxiety, pull off a strip. If you have an eating disorder, pull off a strip. If you have depression, pull off a strip. And you see all the strips are already gone. So everyone's going through something. Just know that, like, I would say it's better to get enrolled, like, we've only been here for a month, but get enrolled sooner than later, because definitely you're gonna get homesick. There are going to be nights where I've talked to people, they've said they've gone to bed crying because they miss their family, or things are hard, or they feel lonely. Or...
And I definitely feel like, I don't know, at least for me personally, I feel like they've actually, like, Brown has really worked hard. I feel like they've worked hard to actually make those services accessible. Because usually things like cost and how far away things are from you is usually a big issue, but I don't feel like that's a problem here.
Oh yeah.
Everything's really accessible. Like, no matter where you are, you can get to where you're going within like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we can take the bus system for free. Just things of that nature. But yeah, thank you, Jadine. Thank you, Hyder, for doing this video with me. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Comment in the
But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
comment like any like video suggestions you have for me, because I plan on doing more things like this. This was just supposed to be like a lighthearted discussion, talking about things like I know like we've only been here for a month, so we don't necessarily know that much about Brown or like being an elite university. But I feel like it's important to get a freshman's first impression of the university to kind of show you what it's like. So that was the point of the video. So thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.